So, I-Nos. Again, we need to talk about the Crusades. Because humanity wanted to stop dying during the Crusades, they put all their energy into a place known as the Backyard, which attempted to help humanity get that brighter tomorrow. Everyone was focused on a single point that could never be delineated from. All of this bright hope was sealed into one girl. That girl we would know as I-Nos, who was found by the original, who was later known as Happy Chaos. All of her desires were taken away, her humanity no more. Trying to change her fate, no matter what, she would always reconvene on that single point that started her. She also shares a point in time with Axel, but we'll leave that there. If you've seen Strive's story, you know the rest. She releases the original, also known as Happy Chaos, to help her find the missing parts of herself. She becomes God, stops all of humanity's desires, and makes them constantly repeat and repeat and repeat until they're constantly perfected. And Soul beats her. And then something happens with her and Axel, or a version of her. We don't really know. Somewhere off in the galaxy, you'll still be playing your song, I-Nos. Maybe someday you finally found happiness. Hello, everyone. This is David Leibowitz with Philosophy of Video Game Philosophy, and I am excited to finally bring you Requiem. Rage, would you like to introduce yourself again?
Hello, everybody. It's nice to see all of you again. My name is Rage. I'm here with David, and I'm ready to break down the lore of this video and this absolutely fine character that I love. May she rest in peace, but that's for another time. And also stick around for the end of the video because I got a surprise for each and every one of you. But without further ado, shall we begin?
Yes.
All right.
The flowers and trees smile with me. The time that passes tells me many loving things, but I can't feel it.
So, would you like to start?
So, would you want to give out your input first, or should I write that?
So, basically, let's start with the end and work back. We have when the rains cries in when the sky cries in April, the clouds and trees smile in May. That's obviously a reference to April showers, May flowers, and based on her lore, from what I know, is that she basically cannot understand and does not understand her own memories or her own feelings. Therefore, it's a very much a depressing notion of things, especially with the notion of thinking of rain as the sky crying. Then we have the notion of, can you feel the night? The night, there's a reference to towards the end of in the final confrontation, if she pulls the moon towards the earth, which is sort of an illusion, sort of not. But night also is, if you cut up with my Nietzsche and stuff, night is in general a thing of lies and deception, but also of just lack of feeling, in a sort of being oriented towards death and towards the future, not in the now, and that's exactly what I-Nos is. She's oriented towards the future and not towards the present, which is exactly what Melia and Zato talk about. But she sort of feels the night as warm, yet also a raging fire. That she feels sort of the warm, and she's constantly experiencing death over time and time again. But it is somehow warm, that something that's usually thought of as cold is warm, yet the same, and it's not only warm, it's burning, sort of the experience of her living in sort of a hell state, like a raging fire, and must be, which is bright. So she's sort of living in endless purgatory. Do you have anything? So what do you have to say?
Well, that was a lot, what you just said, but I'm happy to translate for our fans here. essentially what you were saying and my understanding of the lore for I-No. I-No is much like Axel. She is a character out of time. If I remember correctly, in the Revelator storyline, the Exar storyline, she always saw this dark future. It was all gray and dark, gloomy. And when we go to Strive, she is that dark future. She is the god that I won't say created everything, but she basically just regained what was lost. She regained all her memories from her timeline. Her Axel is actually named Will. Basically, to say, how do I say this?
I mean, she was put. I mean, she was at least in the general timeline. She was found in the backyard, and her desires were sealed from her. Like she literally can't feel. Not only she can't feel,
she got her powers back. Once she got her powers back,
yes,
that's where she felt even more empty because you have everything at your disposal, but yet you have no emotions. You're still empty, like a hungry beast filled with gluttony. You don't feel satisfied, and the night doesn't it feel warm? It could be a reference to her death in Strive, stating that, oh yes, I may be dying right now, but this is a warm feeling right now. As you say, it's often described as cold, but for her at least, it was warm because she saw someone that resembled the one she truly loved. And also dying by the power of quote unquote love.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right.
Good day.
Can't breathe.
So now I'm starting to realize if this song might actually all just be about her death, and that she's finally. I mean, Requiem is literally a song for one's death. That is a Requiem. That's what Mozart famously composed. There was a crazy shenanigans around him composing this Requiem. There's a great movie about it. You should watch it. I watched it in like middle school, but it was insane. I'm glad they showed it to us middle schoolers because we had balls. They gave us balls to watch that. Basically, this is also the way I originally saw it is both. I don't think it's just about her death. I think that that the fact is life was death and death is life in a sense. That, I mean, towards the end of the song we'll get to rebirth in a sense, that there's a possibility of rebirth. That she's fundamentally, that she flew so high, she desired to be in the sort of Christian point of view, desired to be in heaven. She desired so much to be in heaven that when she actually found heaven, she found godhood, it was empty. It was nothing. And this is why the people who desire the lack of feeling, to desire this lack of emotionless life, desire to not gratify their own bodies, are oriented towards night as opposed to towards day. That's my spiel on it. And also like purgatory. Does that compute with you at all? That I mean, in a sense, they do say that she was never oriented towards the present. She was never oriented towards feeling.
So this is my spiel. You did good. All right, the whole falling down slowly like snow
by gravity. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, it's her accepting her fate, right?
I mean, this is correct. I mean, this is all correct, and that's her. This whole song is about her accepting her fate. Yes.
So she's like, they're falling slowly, drifted by gravity, and if you want to tie it back into like Asuka's theme, gravity holds all the answers. Gravity is what's pulling them closer and closer to their fate.
Gravity, not heaven, and as well as to the name of heaven again. That sort of I don't want this. I don't need the wings. I don't need the wings. I want to walk on the earth. So fundamentally, gravity is what trounces all humans.
And so
she flew too high towards the sun, or really towards the moon, sort of like Raven in a sense. Another former assistant of Asuka, though Raven's still happy to tell his tale. That she eventually erupted and combusted because
she literally blew up.
Yeah.
She literally blew up. But back to what I was saying.
The light of the sun, the soul, the light of the sun. She had to be welcomed with the light of the sun, soul, right?
Yeah,
there you go. Exactly.
And so the whole part with I flew high.
Let's take some strawberries and go to the hill. If you want to see fireworks bring at you the sky. The pictures in my head tell me a lot of stories. None of this is real. Cut it out! I flew high so that I could see everything. I was alone around. I have to stop. There is no up or down above the clouds, and I can't breathe.
So basically, how about you? Would you like to start?
Yeah, I don't mind starting this time. So, as they were talking about, got some strawberry, let's go to the hill, you want to see fireworks, bring your own cute scarf, whatever. That also ties back into another part of the song where she says, oh, the memories in her head tell her a lot of stories. But in this part, she's denying that, saying none of it is real because, as we know, this isn't her timeline. The time she spent with her people and all that, it isn't what she remembers. Like, yeah, it's still in her head. Because at the end of the Strive story mode, she said, oh, Axel, you're my will, before she died. So she, as we thought, she's like a paradox in a sort of fashion. She's there, but she doesn't belong there. I'm not saying her being there, if I remember correctly, her being there didn't really ruin anything except for her seeing the future. Because without her being there, then the actual timeline that we're in, they wouldn't be where they're at now. So she was sort of something that had to happen, but also not there because she didn't belong there. That's a whole other thing. And also when it says she's up in the clouds and she can't breathe, and that could be a sort of way of thinking of her ascension as a god, saying,
Exactly.
you know what, yeah, I may have the powers of God, but now it's like, there's nothing to it. Like, what's the point of even having it? Can't change anything.
Sorry about that. Still more technical difficulties. What you were saying?
So, oh, you talking about the video or?
No, basically. So, you were talking about getting godhood and not being able to breathe, right?
Oh yes, now that she's obtained her godhood and all, she's like, yeah, I'm a god, but there's nothing to it. There's no point in being a god in an empty world where everyone's sad and depressed. Like, I feel nothing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And from what I gain of that is, again, it's just how desiring a high value of lack of body that doesn't gratify our animal parts of ourselves is empty, and it's sort of a dig at maybe at a corrupted version of a corrupted version of religion in a way, and basically relates to how she is sort of believing in this high mighty desire that of this world to come, but this world to come is empty, when she should still really live for today, not for heaven. So that's what I have for that. Yeah.
All right.
We have lost the power to lose by leaving all the pain fading away in the water glow.
So basically, this is the most neat is that Nietzsche talks about the notion of pain, to live in a world with pain, and therefore she lives in a world where no one can lose because she's granted it as a god complete equality, complete everything to everyone. So without the power to lose, then because when you lose pain, you lose the power to lose, because fundamentally with loss is pain. Therefore, that is the world she's living in, a world where everyone wins, and that is not. And she realized when everyone wins is not a happy reality.
All right. So
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah. When Naoki says we've lost the power to lose by leaving all the pain, she is basically saying, I gave up my humanity for godhood. Now I don't feel pain. And in order to prove that, I'll share with each and every one of you in the world how this state is, how I'm feeling. You all feel that. That's why everyone was crying, because, well, except for Kai, of course, the absolute Chad he is. He literally stood up to a god and said, nope, you're not God, because if you're a god, this will be happening if you did this, blah, 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 blah. But now she's saying, oh, and that's why they all fight, and we all know what happens. She dies, which is the whole reason of the song. But you could even break that down even more, saying, if you leave everything behind you, your humanity, what makes you special to people and other people in their lives, they're basically just becoming somebody that doesn't care about anything. You become, as she was, an empty void filled with nothing but hatred or just nothing at all. And that's the word, like, if it were me, I'd rather have the feeling of some emotion, doesn't matter which one, better than none, because at that point, with one emotion, I can still prove I'm human, but without any emotions, you're just proving that you're nothing more than a husk. You're nothing but a shell with no soul.
But this is fundamentally what Eno does. Instead of through desiring emotion, create a world where she had even more less emotion. Like, she's still fundamentally a well-written character, and that's because she's a victim. As I said, she's a victim of heaven. She's a victim of the backyard that took away her emotion, because they took away her life for the expense of for the benefit of everyone else. So
you could say that, but I see it as a way of saying, like, yeah, she's a good written character, but what makes her even more is that, more of a good character, is that she spent all her time trying to gain something that in the end it was worth nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, she worked so hard to gain nothing in the end.
Like, I know what I'm saying, but but then she responded with her problems as instead of trying to find new memories, trying to find new things, she could not get anything. But the problem is that can't she? No matter, isn't there no way out of her problem? Like, isn't she? She's literally living in a state of constant death. Like, she's already dead, and therefore to get out of death is true death, which is eventually life. Which,
as I said, she's a paradox character. She without her, the story would be nothing more than what it was without her. But if the story was without her, it would still go on the same path, just a little bit differently, because you wouldn't have the final battle against her and Happy Chaos fusing to become God, No, you would just have them fighting Happy Chaos. But with her, it gave more characters more of a meaning to be connected to each other, because Axel and Soul, their whole connection is, oh, they're both from the past, but they're also tied in with I-No, because in their future, because that's how that works. Because Soul kills I-No, but then I-No realizes that Axel was once someone that she loved, but somebody else. As I said, she's a Paradise character. You can have a story without her, but you also have the story with her. So with or without her, the story won't make much of a difference. But sometimes without that character, you won't have certain characters interacting with each other and creating bonds. But this character right here, I-No, she's the reason why everyone came together in the end. That's what united basically the entire world.
But
Because
that was also due to Happy Chaos, right? This is my argument for Happy Chaos.
Happy Chaos, this whole thing, right? He wants humanity to unite as one, but he wants to do it in the most chaotic ways, like taking over the White House. Everyone's united under one common enemy. After he was gone, though, everyone united to go against I-No. So that's why I say without I-No, everyone would have been against Happy Chaos. But with I-No, you have more of a connection with each and every character.
Because Happy Chaos is just the scriptwriter. He doesn't want to have the last line.
Yeah, he plays the role of the jester.
Yeah, he's the jester. He makes the laughs. He's not the one laughing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he was given props, and he was like, you know what, we're gonna use these to the best of our abilities. I-No, I'm gonna get your power back, but in turn you're gonna be a villain. Blah 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 blah. So and so.
Except I-No is the one that still got Happy Chaos to do all this. Like she's the one.
Yeah.
So we don't know about Happy. I mean, Happy Chaos, no matter what, was calling out to her, no matter what, because he knew that he needed him. She knew that he needed him
In order to fulfill her goal, her future.
Even though he was fundamentally the person that took away her powers in the first place.
Yeah.
Exactly, because fundamentally that's the reason why she's incomplete. All right, let's continue. Awesome guitar riff.
I love this part of the song.
Yeah, it's great. So basically, I mean, this is the idea of accepting sort of a sense of a personal rebirth. In a way, if every other character is, not everyone, a lot of the other characters I've been attacked for saying these characters are the Antichrist. If we have I-No as this sort of corrupted angel figure in a sense, then in a sense, I don't know if you can say, okay, she's not Jesus, but she's a Messiah-like figure along with Abigail. They're both Messiah, as with their Asuka, their troops, they're all in Raven too. They're all Messiah-like figures. So for her to die, sort of in a way leading for her rebirth, which at the end leads to something that sort of the death of this sort of godly figure leads to everyone else to go on, sort of, that we finally killed this god figure, and that allows for people to live in a sort of sense and sort of be reborn as something else, because seems like she is reborn as something else, or at least reborn in another timeline, that therefore people have now the will to move forward because of a sort of Age of Aquarius sort of sense of rebirth going forward. I know I've just said the same thing, rebirth going on, but I do mean a seed of new life, because everyone was able to come together and the world was able to be reinvigorated because of that. So in a way, she did ultimately give the world goods, a net positive through her death. Even sort of, she made though unlike maybe something like you know what I'm referring. Rage, you know what game I might be referring to by a necessary sacrifice, but which I talked about a necessary, but this is always a sacrifice that was not expected, but this sacrifice allowed for the world. Sort of, you could say that Abby Chaos sort of let her to be sacrificed in a way, like he knew that they were going to win, so he sort of just put this god figure and allowed her to die for the world to come together, and so finally leave her own final rest. What do you have to say about that?
So, as much as you said, I have to translate and break that down for our fans.
Of course.
First, I wanna get into the whole, if I am to be swallowed by fate. If I am to be swallowed by fate, that means I must have fought well. As we've said many times over and over, she is accepting her fate now. Like, this is the type of song that would play during her final moments, like the song that plays in her head, saying, oh, if my fate is to die, but I go out in like a blaze of glory in a way, because that's what she technically did, like fire. Funny pun if you understood it. But basically she said, oh, I must have did my job. I did well. I fought well. I did what I was supposed to do. Now I can rest. But now this new seed I planted for humanity to be united against a common enemy, I hope that can spring into something more beautiful, something more lovely than the great future I had planned for humans. I had this dull future ready for humans. So if you all couldn't beat me, that was gonna be reality. But now that you guys beat me, you guys gave color to the world. You can also tie that in with Ty's theme, like when he says, oh, I hope we could dye this world with all types of new colors.
Exactly.
Because, yes, they have a blank canvas now. They can do whatever they want with it. And she wants that, like, United Nation thing, whatever you want to call it.
Not sure what you call it. She helped actually create real equality, not this fake Evangelion equality.
So now in the afterlife, in her timeline, whatever you want to say, she went, because it may seem like she died, but hey, you never know what Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear lore is very odd.
What was that voice with Axel? Were they back in their real time?
That was Megumi. That was Axel's version of I-No, and that was basically Axel is either back in his original time, or I-No managed to just give Megumi to Axel in the future. Because just as I-No had an Axel on her timeline named Will, Axel has an I-No in his time in their timeline named Megumi. And that was his girlfriend, and vice versa in I-No's timeline. So now you could say maybe she risked her life to give Megumi back, because now maybe she's Megumi. Or like maybe they're mixed, because we won't know until the next Guilty Gear game, because anyone's fate is up to Daisuke, the Lord and Savior Daisuke Ishitari.
What happened to Bedman is insane. Oh.
Yeah, so death isn't really a thing until they've confirmed a character died. Like, we all saw Zato. Yeah.
Zato.
Yeah, Zato was dead, but then he came back to life. in one of the accent core endings, Melia died, but that was non-canon. Bedman's body died, but his consciousness is still inside the bed. So you never know with Guilty Gear. You'll never know.
Justice can keep on coming back still. Justice came back a few times.
Yeah, and Justice can keep coming back. We all know Arya and Jacko, they're like sharing the same body because their souls are like intertwined. It's why, I mean, Raven literally can't die. He's immortal. That's why he enjoys pain. So that's another character for you. You have literal vampires that can't die. Gears of Gear is filled with a lot of things. So
yeah,
if Eno comes back in the next game, don't be surprised that she's not dead, because characters are never really dead until you see like
or
legit corpse.
just Megami just somehow became a good guitar player.
or less actual taught Megami a few things Eno taught him. But in the end, Eno just played her part. She fought well. She did the best she could. And now she's leaving it up to the rest of humanity to create a brighter future. Much like Kai, much like Asuka's true plan, and a lot like Potemkin if you think about it. Even though those two characters never really interacted, they still have a common goal. Happy chaos, that's why they were working together. In the end, everything's all peaceful now until the next big bad show up. And then we all know Happy Chaos isn't dead, so maybe he'll go chaotic and take over the White House again, or maybe even make a whole continent fly, knowing his magical potential. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Eno. Very fun character. Hate to see her go, but it was sad. I actually teared up. But she was a good villain through and through.
All right, that's basically it. I hope you all enjoyed that. What was your special surprise?
Oh, yes, but of course. So, if you all haven't known, I've started my own YouTube channel, and right now I have a few shorts up there, but I really want to get more to discussion about philosophy and how society itself is changing and how humans think. Should you adapt to society, or should you do your own thing? That's more so what I want to start doing. I have a few shorts saying who I am, what I want to do. I'm thinking about doing all sorts of stuff. I'm a variety guy. So if anyone happens to come across my channel, it's called Rage, but you might see a different profile picture. I'll try to link a description below if I can. Because I'm not really sure. I just started this.
I will link it.
Yeah. Like I just want to let people know that, you know, you don't have to listen to society. You can just do your own thing, because that's what I'm doing. I want to just let people know that we can change. The way we do it around here, I want to do that, but more grounded in reality and not just video games. I want to share my love for humanity as a whole. I want to get more into podcasts, just all sorts of things. And I want to have David on there. That's a surprise. I wanted David to know at the end of this. So we all.
I'd want to be on there. I'd say I'd be on there anyway, of course.
Yeah, I wanted to let you all know. So I want to have guests come in, like have microphones set up. But that's more so like a goal of mine, not really focused on there now. I want to build up the fan base and community. So if you like this content over here, you're gonna love it on my channel. We're gonna be doing it more reality based and how society affects the human mind, more psychological things. But yeah, that's it for me. David, if you want to end it and take it away.
Well, we will see about next one. If I'm thinking Soul stuff next, but we'll see about what goes on with SAG-AFTRA. I'm gonna rush to get this out. Probably get it out around midnight EST when this will be actually out. Because I'm pretty confident that PCB, which records Guilty Gear, is a very, very voice actor friendly, so it will likely not be under strike. But I'm just going to, just in case, I'm getting it out tonight. So, yeah. But if the strike doesn't cover it, then Soul will be in a week or two. So I hope you're ready for that.
All right. So with all that said, it's good to be back again on another video on one of my another favorite characters. It was nice working with you, David. Call upon me whenever you need. As I've always said since the beginning, I'm a man in the shadows. Call my name and I shall appear. But yeah, that's all from me. Take it away.
All right. It's been Philosophy, Oblivion Philosophy. Peace.